We are live from the headquarters of IndianaMat.com. Notice we have a Chicago Cubs back there because they're the world champions. With our hangout tonight, we got Mike Reiser, the rankings guy. The rankings suck, by the way.
What I heard
lately.
Yeah.
And Nick, the father of an 18-year-old son, Wheeze John.
Hey, yeah, if you guys didn't know, I know I've been keeping on the down low, but I've been raising Anthony Cicerelli since he was a young man. And, I got him into quite the physical shape. I made him not wrestle until he was a freshman because I was like, that makes sense.
Well, you were doing that whole like education thing, high school and college.
Yeah, edutainment. That's what's important about it. But you know, it was a really weird 10th birthday for me, having the kid and all, and having to support him, but we made it work.
Hey, I mean, that's the rough streets of Mishawaka.
Yeah, you know, that's how we do. Everyone says,
"What can I say, ladies? My guy got game."
You thought they were rough in Calumet. Mishawaka, they're having kids at 10.
Yeah. We either call it Cowtown Black Oak or just Gary.
Yeah, he talked about 16 and pregnant. Let me say about 10 and pregnant. That show was awesome. It was on Mishawaka Cable Access, so I didn't get to see it that often.
Well, with that, we'll start with a little bit of fun stuff. Some of us have access to the IndianaMat Facebook messages, and they're quite interesting sometimes. Like the other day, I got asked for the regional brackets, so I said, go to the website under brackets. Well, this person wanted them. He's like, they're not completed. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm like, well, our time machine's kind of broken. Sorry. We just get some interesting questions, and then also got one the other day that said that our rankings suck because a wrestler beat another pretty good guy, and then the person accused the ranker of being the father of a kid that was ranked ahead of their kid.
Okay, hold on. Everyone knows. So yeah, it was. We'll say it was about Cicerelli at least. So we know it's.
Yes. So they know the weight class.
We got told that he had a great weekend and all this stuff, and that in the state rankings that they were wrong because he should be higher than Cicerelli because he beat him. And what me and Joe were responding in tandem, and how I responded was, well, I'm the Brownsburg coach you're accusing of being his father, who does the Evansville rankings, in which your son is ranked above him. So yes. I'm sorry that Mike's bad at his job. I go, in other words, there's like a three-way tie going here. I go, it's a crapshoot, but
yeah. You know, into that, like when we did the Team State show, I thought it was very complimentary of those guys.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though about it, and this is what I've told people today that laugh about it too. I go, when you get into the Facebook messaging system, like I had to send my dad a Facebook message for this link for him to even watch it. It's where old people live, and old people don't know how technology or crazy things like the internet work. So they're just asking dumb questions. Like I'm not surprised, but that's why we have like the Twitter and like the message board where like the real people who understand how things work go. So
yeah,
we've gotten some very interesting messages on there. We will answer questions. If you send a message there, it's just better to do it on the message board because other people can answer other than me and Nick.
We'll respond, but it may not be in a nice way. It may be in the most sarcastic way because it's 10:30 at night and I'm trying to watch the Royal Rumble.
Those guys always respond. I respond all the time. Very classy. I would have given a full breakdown. I mean, obviously there was a thought behind it. I mean, I don't doubt that her son's good. I think he's really good. Obviously, that was a good win.
No, but
no, it's the life of being a ranker. You get some, right now, as I don't know if people realize, and I know this is on we do actually have a little bit of a itinerary tonight. So a
little bit.
So we're going to try to semi-stick with some things, but the rankings are locked. Like as in we're letting them ride. We've done this since day one of the website, or actually year one, I guess. And we let them ride and see how good they are. How good is Mike? Mike usually gets about, I don't know, 78, 79%, I believe.
That was higher. I thought we were in the 80s.
Yeah, 80-ish. I want to, low ball. I didn't want you to get like 75 this year and feel ashamed, but it's about 80%, which is pretty darn good. I know our former ranker before him did a pretty good job too, and they've all been about 75%, and that's pretty impressive considering we stopped them before sectional. So like kids can drop out, not make weight, death draws at semi state, those kind of things, and
all the stuff that makes the sport exciting.
Yes.
If I make 60%, I'll consider this the biggest. I'll consider this the biggest victory since the Cubs World Series. Dad, I'm sorry.
Oh goodness, I'm sure I'm just gonna talk as much as possible so your dad can see that Cubs banner behind me. I'm gonna get a W flag and a World Series banner, so he's gonna love these hangouts.
They're not worth the World Series.
Anyway, it's been a while. We're gonna be going on next week. Maybe we'll do the 4. Whoa, it's kind of dark in here now. Last year, I know we did 4 nights of different semi-states, which that's that time of the year. So I don't know what we're doing yet. We haven't discussed it too much yet with amongst each other. Anyway, we'll go with the first topic, real topic, sectional shakeups. The one thing that there's lots of rumors on the board that there's going to be some changes in sectionals. I've heard some things, and some people have heard, nothing. Everything's rumors right now, I guess. I know that, the big one, Calumet's losing their sectional and regional that they've hosted since 1904, I think. So, and there's some rumored team switching sectionals and stuff. So, rumors. Any comments, Mike? On
the Calumet one? I mean, that hits home. Obviously, that's where I went to school. I know that Coach Watkins takes a lot of pride in running that sectional and regional, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. We're in a big group message, and he didn't know. Like, he wasn't like in the privilege of knowing. Like, you're taking a sectional from a guy that's been there forever. Like, and he didn't even know about it until Al Smith, which is sad, because I think that's one of the things, that they really look forward to. So that's one of the things that I kind of thought was, and obviously it's a personal thing for me because, I love Coach Watkins. I think he's great. And I think everyone that's been one of the overwhelming things on the board is everyone that's ever dealt with him says that he does a great job and they like him. So I don't know. Times change. I think Maryville would do a good job with the regional. I think that they did a good job with the semi-state for a while. It was the semi-state kind of outgrew the building, but the David and those guys, they know how to set up a tournament, and Amy Beckham and Janice Kalisa obviously know how to run a tournament. So on our end, overall, I guess I don't have too much input. I seen one of the Wheeler guys put a projected sectional up or regional up. That would be absolute. I don't know how true that is, but that would be bonkers. There'd be a lot of really tough people staying home.
Yeah, I don't know what. From what I've heard, a lot of the shifts are down south, but I haven't heard much. I mean, I know there's not much going on. From what I've heard, not much going on around my area, Fort Wayne area. Ours is pretty well set. There might be I know they were talking about a couple teams. There's literally, it's kind of funny. East Side will go past DeKalb High School to come to Carroll, and DeKalb goes further. I mean, East Side is further away from Carroll, but DeKalb goes totally different. They go past each other and go in totally opposite directions. So that kind of stuff is.
I think has to go past Calumet to get to East Chicago. But
Nice.
It's cut weird. I mean, we're kind of on top of each other too, like in the region. We're very close. Like that, I think that's something that you figure out. Like Evansville's so spread out, it's crazy. Like when you guys do the semi-state rankings, like I never understood how far everything is, and being in the region, like everything's 20 minutes from each other, minus like Warsaw, which I feel terrible for those guys when they come to semi-state and Lafayette, because that's a haul. That's a really far drive.
Yeah. Warsaw used to come to Fort Wayne for a while. So I don't know. It's supposed to be approved by the IHSA soon, I think, because I thought Falcons said that'd be in the spring so that coaches could kind of adjust their schedules in case stuff changes. And, so that way you're not wrestling teams. We have a couple events where we're wrestling basically teams in our sectional for seating stuff, and we obviously, if they're not in our sectional, we're gonna probably say, hey, we don't want to wrestle you, those types of things. So hopefully we'll get that done soon. I know.
Do you know why they're switching it up?
They do every 4 years ish is when things they just realign it to, and for whatever reason, a little bit closer, looking at, distances and things like that. But I've heard of one that I know someone was posting about it, and I know I'll probably get a text from someone if he's watching this, but I've heard it one that some people are very upset because it looks like one sectional regionals losing a couple really good teams and replacing them with very weak teams. And it's one of those things that if it's true, you'll shake your head at that. Like, why is this, that one team's traveling 10 minutes. Now they're going to travel almost an hour sectional. So that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know what the whole reason is. I know they do it every so often just to and there's teams that are added and subtracted sometimes in certain areas. So they want to keep things,
the first major change was what, 2002 when they went from the 4-team to the 8-team.
Yeah, 2002, 2003 is when we went from the 4 to 6-team sectional to the super sectionals. So that was my first year coaching. Actually, that was fun because no one knew about it. No one could schedule anything, and that seating meeting was fun when no one wrestled each other.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So that. Anyway, and with that said, I know one of the other topics on the board, I know this is probably more for a coaching sake, but there's talk, the HSA would like to have a 3-week tournament. I think personally, I would like a 3-week tournament. I think the 4-week one is a little long, and it's, you got to get kids up for 4 weeks. That's hard on coaches. That's hard on kids. And, especially somewhere like Brownsburg and Avon, they got to wrestle each other 4 weeks in a row.
Oh my God. If you have to keep wrestling them, I know they feel the same way too.
Yeah. And I mean, that's hard, especially when you're wrestling good kids week in, week out. The
and
3-week tournament.
A lot of other states do 3-week tournament. I know Ohio does. They do their sectional district state. I'm not sure how Illinois does it, but I think the standard is almost a 3-week tournament, isn't it?
I would guess that California, because California is really weird in how they do it. They have like sections, and there'll be a section that has like 25 teams, and there'll be a section that has 125 teams.
So yeah, like the LA section gets like 19 kids to state.
Yeah, they're weird. And I think they have a 3-week tournament or 4-week tournament, but don't quote me on that because it's hard to kind of keep track of their stuff. But yeah, most states have a 3-week series. Some of the smaller states will have like a 2-week series where you have a regional and state, states with 14 classes. That's not what we want. But anyway, one of the things that was pretty interesting talking to some people. I mean, the biggest thing is, do we make a super regional now or super sectional where there's about 20 teams and then top 4 go on there with full wrestlebacks and such. And that'd be cool. I mean, you have to do a 2-day event. I think that would fly a little bit. I mean, you're going to have a 2-day event, but you take a whole week off. I know the HSA, one of the biggest things is refs. They gotta organize and, 32 sectionals, 4 refs per sectional. That's, 128 officials that they got.
And I know I definitely saw the refs issue this week when we were at Avon, and I don't know the gentleman's name. I know he did his best job he could, but it was very obvious that there was a novice official there. And he missed a lot of calls. None of them really had any major effects in the matches or the outcomes of the tournament, but you could definitely see that he was a little flustered with it being a sectional, and he was missing some calls that were fairly obvious. And I had that talk with Jim Littlejohn at our youth tournament the next day, and it's just they don't have enough. They're having to bring in people who aren't ready for that kind of stuff, and it's tough. So the easier we can make it to get the best officials out there, I think would ultimately be another benefit to this kind of change.
Yeah, usually those 4s are not the best, and that's one thing I always look. Who's the 4, which would be the worst ref, and you're like, okay, that he's not too bad, so we're gonna be all right. But yeah, the officials. I mean, you'd probably need about 6 officials for the 16 sectionals or whatever you want to call them, and then it'd be a lot easier. They'd have to get probably about 60 some less officials. And then, guys like that, the person you were talking about, he could work his way up to a sectional instead of being thrown to the wolves there. And especially we run 4 mats at our sectional, so every ref is on a mat. So you can't avoid one. You can't, hopefully you get rotated out or, called to a different mat. But yeah, that's the regionals, you'll have a lot better refs. You'll have, a lot more consistency, and it's it's hard. It's not fun to throw out, it's just like throwing out a freshman, that first year wrestler or whatever kid that doesn't really need to be on the mat in a varsity event, and he gets, his butt kicked, and how does he like it? He's gonna probably not want to come back, that type of stuff. So hopefully, we can work something out, like, getting less weeks. Mike, would you like less weeks?
Yeah, no. I mean, I get to do one more broadcast, right?
Yeah. Yes. No. Yeah.
I think the fan outcome's always going to be they want more. They love wrestling. They want to see more matches. They want more opportunities to wrestle. But yeah, let's give us your reasoning, Mike. I interrupted you.
No, it's I think change is always tough, no matter what situation it is. So, like, initially it's always going to be, oh my gosh, we can't change, no matter what it is in any situation. But you see the benefit of it. You don't want this to keep dragging on and dragging on and dragging on. You could be done 1 week earlier.
Yeah, I look at how often you have to be on as a wrestler. I mean, how many times have we heard of a kid that got the flu the week of the semi-state and just or got hurt at sectional or regional, and they're not performing up to their level when they could have, one less week would have probably been better for them. That's the type of stuff. That's my biggest fear is sectional regional, hurting yourself by getting sick and, getting the flu. And now you have to, wrestle through that and hope that you don't screw your seat up for the next week, that type of stuff. It's part of the game, game, I guess you want to call it. I mean, that's what, that's why we wrestle. That, it happens in any sport, but it's just the only thing I like is if you have a kid that's banged up, you can kind of limp them along for a couple of weeks till until it gets really tough, and then you got to throw them to the wolves. But I've had times where we've had a kid that's banged up, and we just got to survive for these first 2 weeks in semi-state. You're going to be better, a lot better. You have 3 weeks to get healthy. So
I guess the real fan question would be, are the Pacers playing a week earlier? Because I don't want to lose Bankers Live.
Nah, I think we'd just do it. We'd leave that same weekend. We just would have. I think the season would be like a week longer, which would be nice to have another week of wrestling in regular season that we could spread out our schedule. I think with that we are. That's the monitor. The season's so scrunched up, especially with Thanksgiving and Christmas, that I know I was talking to Derek about scheduling. We wrestle that first weekend possible, and Brownsburg doesn't wrestle till December.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how do you guys not just want to kill each other?
They do. No, they definitely do. Those are not fun practices.
Nick has to control his kid, so
yeah.
Well, my kid, he had to get driver's ed, so we had to wait.
So I mean, that kind of stuff, if you extend it in, so if we have a couple meets before that, so ours is spread out fairly well. But you look at Brownsburg, it looks like it's a little bit more scrunched up of a schedule. So, I mean, if they can extend their schedule out so they don't have as many weeks where they weigh in 2 or 3 times, it probably is better for the kids and better for the fans. So, I don't know.
I can tell you the last week we wrestled Perry, it was how'd that go? It went conference, Perry. So it went conference on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Tuesday, wrestle Perry. Wednesday, wrestle Ben Davis. Everyone loved that. They had so much fun making weight 3 times that fast.
Killing the game, though.
Yeah. I bet they were excited about that. Yeah, that kind of stuff. I mean, if you have that extra week, you push Ben Davis or Perry to that next week. So, I mean, I think
that solves a bunch of problems for us, at least for our kids. It does wear on you to make weight like that. And I mean, there were kids who didn't wrestle against Ben Davis just because it's like you're going to die if you do that again. So
yeah, No, that's one of those things that I probably personally like a Wednesday, Saturday if I can, as far as weigh-ins, if I'm going to do it 2 days in 2 days in the week. But that kind of stuff is a coaching preference. And, if we can extend it a little bit longer and have a little bit more regular, a little bit more time to schedule those dual meets so we can highlight them better. That's not a bad thing. We'll skip on to sectionals. I know the big talk this week has been the Rump versus Black match. Just posted. Mike got a better video of it. Pretty good match. Great match. That'd be fun to watch in the finals. Match that's kids both get after it. And it's if usually there's going to be more double-digit points scored, so they're not going to hang on to 2-1 victory. Mike, any comments on that big match last week?
That's been a good match. They had a really good match at the Harvest Classic in November, but those kids just let it go, man. And then they kind of have Black has that real funky kind of get you in some scrambles. He's good on top, and Rumpf is just a machine on his feet. Like I didn't know how good he was, and I know that he won the IndianaMat, but his takedowns are looking really good. So I'm interested to see how they both adjust. Now it's going to be about adjusting to each other. I think that they're I would say they're the favorites to be in the finals of the regional and the semi-state. A couple of more kids feeding the semi-state, but the regional for sure. And it'll be interesting. Me and my brother were talking about it today, and like when it gets to Indy, it's going to be tougher. But right now, it's that was a great match. I was happy that I wasn't part of that broadcast, but I was part of the website that brought that broadcast, and we were able to share it. And a lot of people are getting to see it, which is great. I think it's good for the sport to see those good matches.
Yeah, definitely. Any other big matches that went on this weekend that you saw that kind of, whether they're upsets or any other matches because I know sectionals are, there's not very many upsets, not many ranked guys go down. Anything you saw?
Losing Tyson Kuhn, I think, to a weight issue. He was a ranked kid. He was number 1 in East Chicago. East Chicago was a little bit further down in the rankings this year. Opens the door for some more kids at East Chicago to score out. Some guys that maybe were going to be second, kind of missing that draw. John Becker obviously going down before the sectional is a tough one. He, a tough kid. I know we kind of talked to Dane about it a little bit. A couple times state qualifier. Just kind of what we were touching on in the tournament. Caught mono in the wrong time, and you feel for a kid that doesn't get to finish his career on the mat. Pointer Triana at the Calumet sectional also. That's becoming a great rivalry. Those guys. I don't think that they're having a lot of love lost there. I think those guys are. And to touch on that a little bit in the rankings, I had Triana ahead of Colin, but in the semi-state rankings for the whole year, except for right now, I had Colin ahead of Triana. And Colin's kind of had his number the last couple of weeks, the last couple of times they met. I think this is 3 in a row now for Colin. Last year was also he beat Triana, which also gave him the death draw of drawing Colton Cummings. So that was a good one. Obviously, out at Mooresville, number 1 Burke Van Horn got knocked off by Stock, which that's a good match. Burke's been wrestling really well, but the Stock brothers are really tough, and Monrovia has a handful of kids that are really good. So that was another one. A couple undefeated kids lost, which I did the undefeated list, which I always like to see, because you grind, man, and there's a lot of really good kids that have losses. And a lot of number 1 kids that have losses. So, yeah, it's always interesting to see who's going to be undefeated at the end.
Yeah, definitely. I know one kind of thing I always hear from Josh Lowe, the IndianaMat guy. He always comments on how many undefeated guys there are in Indiana. And I give him a number. I'll tell him how many there are going into state. And he's flabbergasted that somehow these guys haven't lost either, how good, how do these guys not meet up and stuff? And it's interesting to hear, his take, because in Ohio, literally they'll have half as many as we have. We'll have usually about 14 to 18, I think, is kind of where it usually going into state, and they'll have like 5 or 6 undefeated guys in Ohio. So it's an interesting take, and I don't know really what it means as far as, someone that, trying to analyze it. It's just that some of our better guys don't hit each other till state because it's kind of a spread out state. We don't have, we don't hit a lot. We're more of a dual state, I think, from what I can tell, versus Ohio. Ohio does a lot of tournaments. So I guess in their big tournaments, they're 32, 40 team tournaments. So it's kind of one of those things.
Buzzsaw.
Yeah. They also have some other tournaments they can go to. Nick, anything you saw out of the Avon sectional? How'd the Orioles treat you?
It's always good. They had delicious pizza and coffee and delicious beverages there in the hospitality room, which we're always very thankful for. The breakfast food, fantastic.
The biscuits and gravy, I heard they're delicious.
Oh, they know how to. Talking about running a tournament, those people, they can make a hospitality room. No,
it's keeping Nick in the sport here.
That is the only reason. This belly ain't gonna satisfy itself. The biggest thing about that sectional, it was a great time. It was definitely one I know we were worried about as a team. Like Avon could very well beat us here. There's no doubt in my mind that they could have, and we had to wrestle lights out to get it done, and we ended up doing it. It was a 1.5 point victory or 2.5 point victory for us. Going in there, the match came down to heavyweight. Ricky Clark and Brett Henson in the finals there. Winner takes the sectional. And it was, everyone always talks about heavyweight matches being boring, but that was a 3-1 sudden victory overtime that was electric in that gymnasium. And I don't know, I've talked to guys like Chris Garcia who said, Brownsburg wins it. I know it's hard for those guys to say sometimes, but it was a great match and a great experience for the sport in general. Just seeing people right there getting after it, and Avon did everything they could there. We couldn't bump up Mulkey or Brayton like we had every other time we wrestled them to take out 2 of their hammers. So definitely had to wrestle well, and we pulled it off. But I think in terms of excitement, you have. I don't even know if we've been updated since we lost to Perry, but I'm going to say 2 and 3. You had 2 teams, 2 and 3 going in the sectional, battling it out, coming down to that last match, that heavyweight match, and seeing 2 seniors go after it. That's an impressive environment and atmosphere.
So we've been calling him Slick Rick the whole year. Now we're going to start calling him Big Match Ricky. Didn't he sealed it for you guys last year at Team State? He's getting you guys a sectional.
Yeah.
I saw the video, and he has some ups.
Yeah, Ricky can jump. We had a match the other day where I tried to distract him with a cheeseburger and cookies, but it did not work. He threw me in a headlock and pinned me.
You take cheeseburgers to practice?
When I know I have to wrestle Ricky. Yeah. But
you're braver than I am. I haven't wrestled Jesse this year. My neck feels 1,000 times better. Let me tell you.
Well, it's every time you wrestle Ricky, it's like, all right, so this is gonna go out 2 ways. I'll either win an overtime, I'll get pinned, or my leg is going to snap under the weight, and I'm going to be carted out of here crying. So
that's three ways, not 2.
Whatever. Math's dumb. Okay, so other story. So this whole time we're doing this, so we're at the Avon sectional, and so Derek's sitting here. He's like, "What's the math?" I go, "Well, I did the math, and I think if Walton gets a pin, I think we're good." No, I was like, "No, I think Walton just needs to get a tech, and we're okay." Then we're sitting there. Walton's resting. I'm like maybe halfway through the match, like halfway through the second period. I go, "Hey, I lied." He's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, Walton needs to get a pin." And he just told me he doesn't need to pin him. He just needs to tech him. And Hubner's trying to do his job and just survive. So he's being hard to wrestle. And so Derek goes, "You're killing me with your math." So, all right, whatever. So I'm like, all right, we got the pin. So it'll come down to heavy. We'll be fine. And then he walks over. He goes, "All right, we have 95 coming up. You versus Frank. You ready to go?" I was like, "What?" Oh, I didn't know this was happening. I was like, "Okay, we need to win this match too. Otherwise we lose." He's like, "Your math is killing me right now. I hate you and you're bad at math." So,
Mishawaka school system for you.
Sorry, Mom. Mom, make Mishawaka schools better again because it did me dirty.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an interesting time, but no, that was a great sectional. I think for everyone involved, and I think for everyone in that gym, I think it was worth the price of admission. I know You go to some of those sectionals and it's just a blowout. There's nothing close. There's half the teams don't have full lineups. And I'm not saying the Avon sectional is full of a bunch of hammers, but I'm saying just that team race alone with how close it was and what it came down to. I think that's the kind of thing that makes wrestling exciting and it'll keep fans coming back. You know, our bus driver was like, I've never been to a wrestling meet before, and I'm going to come back because that was awesome. That atmosphere was awesome. And
Definitely.
That's what we need to make the sport better.
Yes, definitely. It was interesting. I don't know if I bet you could probably go through the history of wrestling and probably not see. Obviously, we've only had the super sectionals for about 10, 15 years, I guess, since I started coaching. That's a long time. That two teams both advanced 14. I mean, that's half the sectional. I know that's a pretty big. You know, that's a lot of kids. Just two teams, and. You know, and you're feeding into a pretty good sectional anyway. So,
oh my God, that 170 regional, wow. Well, I would say that 170 and that heavyweight regional.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, and then that sets you up for semi-state where you could, you know, draw anyone else. Yeah, so that's I mean, that's a lot of. It's just one of those things. I was looking, and I was like, man, you know. Getting 28 of those kids out were just from two teams. And I just got to say, you know, Team IndianaMat, both, you know, there's all 14 kids from both our teams went, you know, so that's pretty good. I think if Mike would be coaching team, I'm pretty certain he'd have got 14 out also.
Yeah.
It must just be something to do with being involved with IndianaMat.
Thank God we got rid of that other guy, right?
Yeah. Fired him. So, Mike, if you want to catch on coaching next year, you'll get 14 to regional.
Can I put that on a resume?
Yes.
I'm doing the whole broadcast thing right now. You know, my career is going in a different direction.
Yeah. The team could have you could just start up a team at whatever, you know, school you want there and probably get 14 out. I'm just saying. No,
rubs off like that, huh?
That's what I've heard.
Just tell them you'd rather throw them than know them.
I got to have a better sectional. I don't know if in a year if I'm going to get 14 like Portage or Maryville, so I don't want that.
Yeah.
I think Portage is taking 14 to the semi-state too.
You should
that's pretty impressive.
Should get in Maryville's sectional and then get up in Maldonado's face and shove him. You won't do it. You won't do it.
Those are the nicest guys in the world.
No, get in his face and shove him. Tell him you don't know me, and then shove him. Say, "Cash me outside." How about that?
Cash me outside. I talked to David, and I heard him say a swear word, and I hadn't heard him, and I've probably known him since like 2002. It's the first time I've ever heard him say a swear word.
I just remember at state last year, he came up and he gave me a big hug, and he goes, "Hey, man, thanks for always getting my back on the message board." And I was like, "Hey, man, you're really good at your job, and you're way better at wrestling than I will ever be in the history of the world." And I just said, "You're really good at cradles," and then I ran away.
Nice. So, with that, Avon sectional team race. Very good. What are we looking for this week? Rump Black 2 of maybe 4.
Yeah.
I know that one's going to be a doozy.
I mean, we can go. There's tons. I'm going to be at Crown Point. So at the DAC, Oscar Cash and Diego Lemley probably was a really good match. So I'm sure that'll be another really good match there. But Calumet's going to have that pointer. Kind of that countdown. I'm really excited to see De La Pena and Cummings possibly at semi-state, which I think that those guys are both goers, and they're just going to be at each other. Cummings looked really good Saturday against Ian Dembowski. Just kind of you can tell he's getting it back. You know, not that he was ever like lost it, but he's getting his legs under him, which I think is going to be really good for the Lowell team. I think they have a good chance to get a lot of guys to Indy also.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Nick's. We have a little Google Doc here, so I'm looking at it. There's obviously some good matches at Mooresville.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You know, it's. I feel really bad because I know there's a bunch of regionals going out, but I don't pay attention to them because I have to coach kids. Derek, when I quit, you're gonna be really mad. But you know, looking into it, you know, just some things I see, possible finals matches. You can see a Mills Moscone, both undefeated at the moment. She interrupted me. Mills Moscone. Mills has one loss out of state, undefeated in state. Moscone coming in undefeated, dropping from 126 all year. That'll be an interesting one to see in the finals, I think, possibly, as long as both get there, because anyone can beat anybody. We could see a Van Horn stock 2, or for all we know, we could see a Runyon Center Grove kid whose name Jonah Hayes. Is that his name? Yeah.
Yes, Hayes.
Who knows at that weight class?
That 170 is absolutely loaded. Like, and just kind of, I know we kind of tiptoed around it, but Stock lost to Runyon, who lost to Cicerelli. So that's kind of how he staggered that. Me personally on my rankings.
but yeah, winning that first match is going to be huge, I think, on Saturday at 170. Winning that first round, I think, and then who shows up that day. I don't think it'll really affect the state turnout as much. I think all 4 of those kids are good enough to qualify for state, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, mixing Cameron Fuller and Aaron Mosley too at the semi-state at 170. That's a nasty semi-state too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of really. I mean, you're starting to look into. My thing as a coach, I'm looking for the death draws. Where do we have to finish so that we, aren't drawn into, what's our best shot? If we finish second, do we have at least a couple draws that we can win, or are we pretty much screwed if we finish second or third?
My question is when is there going to be the death draw? The Paul Conrad situation where, kid's banged up and he just, to stay fresh, he defaults out. And then, that's what kept Weaver out of the state tournament his junior year. It was Conrad is when he tweaked his knee and defaulted out at the regional, and Weaver got a second and pulled into that. So, that stuff happens all the time, and that's where I'm concerned about. Where's the upset going to be that throws off everyone's thoughts on what the death draw is? Who's the best kid you're going to get because someone was just on that day, and now you're pulling the number 3 or 2 or 1 ranked kid to go to state.
Yeah, Perry Meridian 113 is absolutely nasty. All 4 of those. Plus you got Sam Fair, Cody Conway first. Gavin Rose is there. Skylar Turner, Tyler Bowling, first round. Alex Vidaya. Like that's a loaded. Like there's gonna be regional champs that are gonna be drawing maybe a Skylar Turner, a Sam Fair. Like that's not fun.
Yeah. That's was that last year that Perry. The Perry Regional had this, I think it was 113 again, where they had pretty much a similar, where they had 5-6 guys that were just loaded. It was a lower weight, I remember, but it was ugly.
I've been talking this all year. Like the East Chicago 120, you're gonna have Crown Point's gonna have 5 kids that could be. Bryce Niewarner was a state qualifier last year. He's got a kid from LaPorte. Skylar Gomez is really tough, and Kaylin Kelly, Alex Batista, they're going to feed into Pointer, Triana. They're going to feed into Donovan Johnson, who's a state medalist. John Anderson, who's a state qualifier. Tanner Demeen was a state medalist at one point 2 years ago, a state qualifier last year. All going to feed into the semi-state, and there's going to be some really brutal draws.
Yeah, that's going to be the fun. I went through some of the Fort Wayne area ones. Really not too many. Kenny Kern versus Nate Weimer. Weimer dropped down late to 152. I think that's probably a little bit better weight class for him. I don't think he's that tall, but he's a very mat savvy wrestler, very good wrestler. That'll be an interesting one. 2 definitely contrast of styles and body types. Weimer's a gamer, so that'll be an interesting. Loser could draw into some pretty tough guys at 52. Bussy versus Laughlin and at Jay County. That should be a good one. Laughlin's probably the favorite, but Bussy's pretty darn tough, so you can't overlook him. Then another one that's very interesting, Joey Blakely versus Connor Graber. I know we haven't Connor Graber has kind of been one of those guys that just comes out of not really out of nowhere. It is Northridge. They have Amish people there. But Graber kind of has had a breakout season this year, had some big wins, and people were like, hey, this guy needs, and all of a sudden he beat like Blakely. He beat he beat some other pretty good guys. Let me bring it up real quick. he beat where he is
Moser,
Kressel, Barberry, Leonard, Quentin Moore, Nate Lafree. Has had a pretty good season and just been rolling through people. He beat Blakely 11-4, which is pretty impressive returning state placer. They'll have a rematch there. Should be a good one there.
We kind of talked about that too, because I had asked him. I said, what was the difference? Because obviously he was solid last year, like no denying, but this year he's like rolling kids. And you said that's kind of when his brother also hit his stride. Was like his sophomore going to junior year, he started really turning it up.
Yeah, definitely. And I know his brother was a 2-time runner-up, 3-time qualifier, I want to say, and pretty tough kid. So that, I mean, obviously he's going to be good. I'm pretty certain his brother has at least helped coach him for a while, so he's going to be being pushed in the room and things like that. So it'll be that should be a good one. And obviously with those three, you look at there's a death draw there. I mean, you're looking at a 52-pounder's not wanting that Goshen 2, things like that. The death draws that we all just we look for those in the brackets and then just cringe like, ugh.
52 at Fort Wayne is a deep weight because you're talking Colt Rudder, you're talking Hunter Reed, you're talking undefeated Christian Brasher, you're talking a bunch of really tough kids.
Yeah, and one of them's getting Weimer or Kern, a guy with a state medal. You know? And I know like Hunter Reed's 1-1 with Weimer, so that's that's the rubber match in the ticker round. That's I mean, I guess that's where you want it, but that kind of stuff is
before it gets too crazy. We do not know the semi-state draws right now.
No, we do not. We don't even know the semi-state results either.
Brownsburg wins it in a close one.
I can get it close, but it's just going to be an estimate.
Yes, we do not have those. I don't know how they're going to do it this year. I hopefully.
If you want to see the actual semi-state results, please go to IndianaWrestlingNews.com.
Bleep that out. You want to know the Fort Wayne semi-state results? No lie. Take this down. This is for real. Message Caleb Spires. I don't know how he does it. He's a machine in the pick'ems. He knows who's qualifying right now.
Yes. Yes, he is. He is he's an encyclopedia. That's why we had to get him to do the Fort Wayne. I think he's sandbag on those rankings. I think he's sandbag. He's like, I know this kid's better, but I'm not going to put him there. So, because people are going to use those rankings and think
he's young in the game, man. Not everyone can jump in like Nick. You gotta right now he's getting the hey, my kid's so good talk, and they're like, you know what, you're right. Your kid's probably really good. I'm gonna put him number 1.
Yes. So, yeah, a lot of regionals start where you start seeing guys some of the better matches, and and unfortunately our death draws. Anything else? Any other big ones you're looking at, Mike? Any big draws? Any big ranking news?
Not off the top of my head. I didn't. Obviously, you look at I see Skylar Turner, Bryce Coleman at Perry Meridian. I don't go to every single one and kind of lay it out, but man, there's always those matches. There's always gonna be an upset. So especially, I know we're given a little bit on the the 170, but be that guy. Be the guy that's out there doing the upsetting. The guy that's coming out. I know there's a kid that sends me a lot of messages on Twitter, and he's always like, "Don't I'm still gonna be a state champ. I was 4th in my sectional, but I'm gonna be a state champ." Great. Be the guy that's knocking off the guy. Keep wrestling, keep doing your thing. Everyone's beatable.
Yep. You got North Montgomery has Seth Johnson, Brandon Mattingly. That'll be a good one. They're 2 top 5 guys.
Yeah.
I know that one. That'll be round 2. Johnson beat him
by fall, right?
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. I don't know how that match was before that. So Mattingly could have been up 14 and got caught in a headlock. For all we know, unless Mike knows something I don't, but she usually does.
I think he was up 14 and caught in a headlock. Nah, they said Johnson kind of handled them a little bit.
Yeah, and that was the week after Mattingly beat Andrew Black. So that's one of those things. That's how things go. I
think that 106 at Mooresville is going to. Not to say Mooresville is the best. Obviously, I have to rep the region. I rep it so hard. It's crazy. But the county is doing a good job. That Owen Sego, Raymond Rio and Drake
Campbell.
Yeah, Drake Campbell is going to be a good 3 too.
That Drink kid. Yeah. 70 at North Montgomery, Tanner Webster, Thomas Pinola. That will be battling out, and probably the loser of that might be drawn into Silas Allred. So, I mean, you look at, and then you also have our Allred and Ruberg at Richmond. You know, the young gun versus the senior.
Oh, the hashtag Young Guns.
170 is nasty.
Got hashtag that.
Yeah, we actually, there's a trademark on that. You can't do that, guys. He has a copyright.
Oh man, and not the first time I've got hit with that this year.
Chris, I'll send your lawyers a call.
Send my lawyers a call. What?
Chris's 170 is just a loaded weight. I mean, I think top to bottom, that's like one of the deepest weights because at East Chicago, it's ridiculous. You're gonna have Fator and Cornejo again. You're gonna have Jared Swank and Devontae Malone, which it's just a nasty weight class overall. Like, there's a lot of possibilities, some really tough draws.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Looking through, Meridian. Jeez.
Yeah,
they have 2, 3, 4. They have 6 guys. I'm just looking through the semi-state rankings and the Perry Meridian. 6 of the top 7 guys the same at 113. That's just sick. They got at 20. You have Sonny Neer, Carter Nori, and Tice Frehy. That'll be another good one.
You have Bryce Coleman and Sonny Neer first match.
Yeah, and Chase Wilkerson's also there. So that's another pretty good one. Looking through these
rankings are going to have a lot more holes after this weekend, is what you're saying.
Yes. Let's see. Any other ones from Perry?
Matt Lee, Carson Willis, rematch number 3. That's split up. That's 10 and 7, right? 10 and 7.
Yeah. Pendleton Heights, Gabe Smith versus Logan Bailey 2. That I didn't even see how that finished out. I know there was a interesting. I guess we can get on that subject of the seating and the all of the fun. I know Lawrence Central, from what it sounds like, they didn't have all of their weigh-ins recorded or something of that nature.
They don't have their master alpha sheet.
Yes, which they hosted the sectional, which is very interesting. I mean,
watch this face. Come on. You know better than that, guys.
Yeah. And very interesting because they decide in the rules, it basically says if you don't have your scorebook, your signed scorebook and your weigh-in sheets, your kids are ineligible for seeds. But then right after that says, well, if the coaches agree, they can seed their guys. And they're just, all the Lawrence Central kids were like 7 or 8 seeds. So Gabe Smith and Logan Bailey were like in the quarters.
It was in the semis, but yeah.
Semis, yeah. But, when they should have been in the finals. And it's, that's something I cringe at as a coach. I don't want my kids drawn into that. I want and I don't want my, you kind of set the whole regional and even semi-state kind of in a tailspin where, they should be 1-2. Now they're 1-3, no matter how they, fill out. Now number 2 is getting a bad deal. And then someone else's number 1's getting kind of a bad deal. And you're looking at, well, if they would have just done that, how much would the things change?
Yeah. And more of that's going to come into effect next week where that happens, where it really throws a semi-state into effect, where that goes to a blind draw. This can kind of work itself out a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but even the 1-3, they're in the semis again.
Yeah.
Which I know we kind of had some at our sectional. We had a weight where really, we pretty much everyone knew the way it worked out that possibly the second best kid ended up with the 4 seed against the champ or eventual champ. Kid that was probably going to win it fairly handily, and the 2-3s weren't as good, but they had some criteria, and it just was not in. It was just one of those weird situations where you knew, that number 2 out of the other sectional is not going to like that draw, that kind of stuff. And that's like how they are at Pendleton Heights. Those 2 guys aren't going to exactly, that number 2 is thinking, oh yeah, I got second. I'm going to have a third placer. Well, no, I have a Al Smith champ.
Yeah.
First round.
Well, rankings don't mean anything. So
yeah. And to me, I will get on a soapbox for a second that, that to me that looks bad on the coaches because, me as a coach, I don't want to see that for my kids. And coaches should have said, hey, we need to see these guys. We need to do this as fair as possible for not only the kids, but for, everyone else's kids. I don't want my kid that might be a 3 or 4 end up dropping early because in the consolations, because he got, drew into that Lawrence Central kid who's pretty good or whoever it is.
Yeah. They have 4 or 5 really good kids too.
Yeah.
Like really like with the right draw could be state level kids. I mean, 70, 95, 106, 138 are really good kids.
Yes, they are. I know I saw that. Any comments, Nick, or are you just watching your kitty?
I don't know where she went. Bro.
Oh goodness.
I have a lot of wires over here.
Yeah. Also, Pendleton Heights, you have Mello and Riley White, Husky.
Yeah. I think Riley White's only lost is Mello this year.
Yep. That should be a good one. And then you also have Lawrence Central, Jesus Mancara, who's pretty darn tough. I know I saw him personally. You got him lurking there also. Looking through any other good matchups that jump out. Elijah Bailey, Robert Samuels. I know they've gone back and forth a little bit. Heavyweight.
Yeah,
that should be a good one. I mean, that's a number 2 you don't want to draw at semi-state.
No.
So pretty good. I mean,
both those guys wrestled some 220 this year too. So
yeah,
agile.
Yes, they're flexible. Any other? Man, we've gone way too fast. See, that's why we shouldn't have an itinerary because then we go way too fast. Any other topics on the board that you've seen that's
Let me go to the board and see which one's on fire.
The one I know we can talk about Drew Hughes. Got to watch
killing it, man.
Big Ten. I choose top.
It's about how rankings are not changing. Because we're evil!
I can mute you, Nicholas.
Drew has a star by it. He's killing it, man. Congratulations. That kid's awesome. That's a good kid, man. I'm happy. Good articles today on Wrestling Wednesday.
Yep, and Monday Madness. Check those out. I've always liked to read those. You learn a lot about. I know a lot of kids are probably getting a little bit some fans just from reading the articles on that they're more than just wrestlers.
2 138s this week too. Brennan's awesome kid. If you get a chance, he'll talk your ear off. He's a great kid. I think someone said they lost respect for him because he was talking to an official during a match, which if that's what you're losing respect for, I mean, good luck in this world.
Yeah.
I thought that was dumb. Just as a side, I thought that that wasn't a post. I was like, for what? And then what the side official said he was asking about the score. It wasn't even anything crazy. Tristan Selmer in today's article. Tristan Selmer is awesome, man. I think that's a kid that we don't talk about enough. That dude's awesome in freestyle. I got to see him at the Trikoff. Him and Rumpf was a great match. So everyone that's saying like Rumpf Black's probably going to be the state finals match. Tristan Selmer is really good too. There's Zach Mello is really good. Zach Mello beat Chris Rumpf there.
Yeah, definitely.
Are we running those articles all the way to the state finals?
Yes, we will be doing all the way up till state finals and probably do one of each after state finals. So they do a great job. I think add some, I like not having to write articles personally because I'm not the best at it. And those guys are professionals. They've, I know Hines, he doesn't do it anymore, but he was like a sports guy. And obviously Steve Craw does that. That's his job. So glad to have those guys on board. That's kind of, I like, it's pretty nice to have those articles. And I know they do a great job talking to kids and, coaches. Sometimes some of them are not very talkative and they got to pull some words out of them. But
talk to me. I got a lot of words.
That's
I
why
read your article.
Yeah. The most dominant big man. There you go. Right there.
There we go. Hey, I'm not a guy that lives in the past. I'm never like, when I was doing this, it was so much better. Like, we could do it so hard. That's like Sean Streck was probably, to me, the best big man I've seen. Like, he was just a goer. And I mean, I haven't been doing it as long as like David Palmer, so I only hear stories. That's a story to me. Like that guy is different because I've never seen it. Sean Streck was a beast at heavyweight, and we could do it by weight if you want, but that's my two.
Yeah.
Sean Streck actually went there and defended himself too. So
yes, that was good. Yeah, Streck. I mean, I'm pretty certain he's a first 4-time placer at heavyweight. And the one thing I did state, I don't know if it probably got squashed between other stuff. There's a difference between dominating at heavyweight and dominating at like a 215, 220. The biggest thing I see is that heavyweight, you get such a wide variety of skills and body types. And, you look at Ricky Clark, is that the short, a little bit wider type.
Healthy? Is that the word you're looking for? Healthy?
Healthy, yes. Yes, that's the word I was looking for, healthy. And then you have someone like Jesse, who is, he's probably 5'10", 5'11", and he's all of 285. But then you have Robert Samuels, who weighs 207, and it's and everything in between there. That being able to dominate so many different styles and body types. I mean, it's not like, at the lower weights, yes, you'll have a short, stocky guy, you'll have a tall, lanky guy. Okay. But you're not going to have everything else in between like that. So it's very interesting to see, to dominate at heavy and 220, you're not going to have that that wide variety and range of athletic. You have the slower guys, the quick, smaller guys, or most of them are about the same. So I think I want to say it's not easy to dominate either weight, because especially as a freshman or sophomore, but I'd say it's a little bit easier to do it the 220, 215 area than it would be heavyweight. It's just one of those things I looked at and I'm like, it's hard to say. Paris is obviously a man amongst boys at 220. And
yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah,
It's really good.
I want to see him and Gable, but
Gable's heavyweight now, man. He was in the house Saturday. Calumet.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw some photos.
Yeah, he going back to his home turf. I assume he was going to watch his brother Russell at Purdue on Sunday. And I know I saw Minnesota practice that Portage. I don't know who they know there, but somebody, I guess.
They practiced in Brownsburg a few weeks ago.
Minnesota did?
Yeah, they came in. They asked me to show some technique, so
Oh, good. What did you show them?
Oh, I was like, let me show you my lightning fast double. Like Jordan Burroughs calls it the Nick Weiss John. You might see him run it every now and then. It's pretty good.
Nice. Why don't you ever use it on Ricky?
Well, it's called confidence, Joe. Jeez, you're a coach. You should know this.
Okay, good. So dominant big man. Nick, who's your choice? Sean Streck or Ricky Clark?
Heavyweight.
Okay, first off, I watched Sean Streck versus Ricky Clark. Sean Streck picked Ricky Clark up, slammed him, and then looked at us like it was our fault that Ricky and Brayton Lee had sent Sean Streck Snapchats of Ricky Clark saying he was better than him. It's not like it was my fault. I was scared of him. It was very scary. It was a very scary moment for everyone.
The funny thing is, Streck is such like he'll love this. Hopefully he's watching, because he'll probably send me a message. But he's like a big teddy bear. He's a great kid. But you get him on the mat. I remember he was on not the first gorilla, but he was on one of the teams as a freshman, and just the way he moves, and he's been a great kid. He always comes up, says hi, how you doing? Great family. So it's always fun to talk to him and give him a hard time here and there. I hope that I don't upset him so that I can live to breathe another day. But the way seeing him tech fall a guy at the Al Smith finals, because last year, I don't know if we said this on the air, but I know he couldn't win the most outstanding wrestler. So because Drew Hughes already had 4 or 5 pins or whatever it was, and he had a forfeit. So he just went out there. He's like, I'm going to tech ball this kid in the finals. And he was just going. You don't see a heavyweight do that.
They said he's the hardest working kid, the best kid, the strongest kid in the room. And if you wrestle him, he doesn't let you rotate out.
That sounds like
if you got him for 25 minutes, you got him for 25 minutes.
That sounds like fun. Team State. Is Brownsburg going to qualify for Team State this year, Nick?
No, Plainfield's going to take our spot. Next question.
Columbus East is running away with it. You got where is Brownsburg at? Oh, they're almost there.
We're below Plainfield. Plainfield's going to take our
Northridge
spot.
has you.
I think Portage is about to punch that ticket.
Yeah, we're way below you guys.
I think, I believe, if I remember from what Adrian told me, we already went over my math skills, but I believe the big points come in at semi-state. So
yeah,
I'm waiting till then.
I was like looking at it that we got like 14 and Pelton Heights got 13 out, and we only have we're like halfway down there. Like, oh no, but yeah.
Explain how that works. Not just joking.
Oh,
All right, so so there's this thing where we just roll our face against the keyboard, and whatever comes up wins.
I win. No,
Turns out,
Maybe we'll have Adrian on there at 3:00 in the morning when people are knocking at his door again.
yeah. So you can explain it, and everyone's just like, "Yeah, I guess that makes sense." I don't know. You're talking about like derivatives. I don't know. Sure. Yeah. Derive that. Bell curve.
Oh, goodness. Nick and his math wisdom. Aren't you like a software guy? Don't you take some math back in the day?
Computer science major, 2 majors and a minor. I don't want to brag from filming it. I'd grab it, but it's in my hutch over there on the ground because I don't have the things to hook it. But
You own a hutch.
they're built in hutches, and yes, I own a hutch. I'm classy.
You're gonna make no comment.
hey,
This room smells of rich mahogany, my friend.
Nice. Oh goodness.
Nick's out there killing the game. I seen him make a steak the other day.
Oh, dude, I sous vide. Yeah, okay, off topic. I sous vide a steak. Took about 2 hours to do, but let me tell you, it was perfect.
Nice. And
So if anyone wants to meet with this guy in Indy, we're gonna have a nice meet and greet. You know, it's gonna be a speed dating type situation. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, mostly females, unless you're a really hot male. Like George Clooney, man, show up. I'll talk.
Or Dustin Bentz.
Oh, come on. That's not even fair. Why would you do that to anyone else? No, man, let's do it. I'd totally be down to have a meet and greet at my house if I wasn't scared of the people who would rob me or murder me.
what would they steal? Video games?
My cat! And no, I would lock this room. Are you kidding me? That's where the computer is.
Are those some N64 games back there?
Oh, yeah, hold on.
GoldenEye and Mario Kart. Come on.
We got some classics. Well, that's all in my car. We got some classics. So I got Bomberman Hero. Bomberman Hero. Donkey Kong 64. WCW NWO Revenge.
Woo.
Ooh, is
A
that
second copy of WCW NWO Revenge. In case the first one breaks. Whoa. 007, The World Is Not Enough.
You gotta have GoldenEye.
And Zelda, The Ocarina of Time.
Wow.
Ladies, I'm single.
There's a reason.
All of this could be yours. I could go into the list with all my NES and Super Nintendo games and PlayStation.
Wow. It amazes me. I don't know how you're single.
But no, really do. I would like to. I need to get better at it. Like I said, I just bought a bunch of. I was messing around with stuff earlier, as you probably heard when I was the devil. I've purchased some microphones, a studio mixer, and I have a portable laptop that I can now, if I really wanted to, I could do a Mixler audio stream or a interviews on the go, which I should start doing, but I am usually lazy and tired. But we'll see. Maybe I'll do that at Mooresville. See if I can get some kids to come hang out and do some interviews.
Do an interview with Jason Miller.
I mean, I will, but hold on. Hey Sasha, do you think we can get a beat thing to work?
What did he say?
I don't know. He's in the house right now. He wants to talk.
A censor button. Sasha, what do you think about Indiana wrestling?
Oh goodness. Nice. Anyway, I guess we're leaving. People are having fun with us by now.
We're stretching. Let's
We're
send it
usually we
home.
just blab on. I'm like, come on, Mike, we gotta stop, Mike. Any other comments about this week? I know some great wrestling, Mike. Oh, we're gonna be at Calumet, I assume.
No, Crown Point.
Oh, Crown Point. Sorry.
I'm touching on my mic skills, getting ready for next year's Indiana Open.
Nice. Yeah, you gotta broadcast. You gotta get that going. You gotta get your radio voice going.
We gotta get our gorilla cage built.
Yes,
I'm getting quite the resume now.
Yeah, no, we got it. I mean, we keep doing it bigger and better, and it's just we gotta keep. Maybe we need a stage or something.
Great. Put it on a stage. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Can I wrestle somebody? Can we do like the professional like freestyle? Like we get Tom Clark in there to officiate it and like just have me get wrecked by somebody.
Someone that's
I mean, whoever you get who's willing to do that is going to be way better than me and in shape. And I'll just talk
like someone that's like a wrestler, like a guy that's out. I thought you might like another coach.
No, dude. I mean, you want to go get somebody on the ladder, see if we can get them there, and I'll just talk mad garbage and then just get hammered. It'll be hilarious.
What is Reese doing?
I don't know. I'll bring my belts though.
Can we get Angel and Reese Humphrey in there?
He can't keep the belts though. That's the rule. Kayfabe, he can't keep the belts. But I'll bring them. And I'll wear a singlet to get thrown by Angel. I probably have like 30 pounds on him.
That'd be great. 30?
If you want to see some singlet action, you can go to
I've seen it, Joe.
WayneTV.com and find the Team of the Week Carroll Superchargers, and there might be some gorilla singlets there. I don't know.
Don't do it if you just ate dinner.
Yes, make sure your food's all settled in.
That's tough.
All right.
We got a vintage IndianaMat on it. Get a gorilla on it. Everything.
Yeah. So Nick, where are you going to be this weekend? You going to Mooresville? Or are you going to go ahead somewhere else?
I'm going to be at Mooresville. Like I said, doing my thing, coaching. Teaching, having Brayton Lee do everything I ever showed him because I'm the reason he's good. Clearly, this guy.
Yes.
Beat him up in the room all the time.
I'm sure.
Everyone's like, "Where's he going? Is he going to go to Penn State? He's going to Nebraska?" No, he's going to University of Findlay because he's going to represent that GLIAC pride.
I thought it was North Central.
Okay, yeah, everyone said he was going to North Central for the CCIW. That's the College Conference of Illinois and Wisconsin. That's 2 states. I understand it. It sounds crazy, but the GLIAC, the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, that is a conference of pure. The Tiffin Dragons are there. The Lake Erie Storm, the Findlay Roughnecks, the Ashland Eagle. That's 4 teams. 2012, I got second team all conference.
Mic drop. If that mic wasn't attached right now, it would have been dropped.
Yeah, I don't want to drop this other one because I don't know if it'll break.
You know what? I was second team all conference also because there were only 2 teams back then.
Attaboy. See, we had 4. Lake Erie and Tiffin came in the game late.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. So we're equal accomplishments there.
Correct. We should probably wrap it up here.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope my new microphone worked well.
Tried to cut a little bit. I got nervous.
Yeah. So I hope everyone enjoyed this. I don't know what Nick's getting ready to do, but I'm kind of scared. So we'll be back next week. We'll probably discuss after we close out here what we are, what the exact plans are for this for next week. Oh, I do have my. Speaking of, who do I have here? Triple B. There are you. So, and I do have a Carl Hungus. This could be an epic match.
Caprino, give my father a shout out.
Go Cubs.
That's good. So we're gonna totally go, and we'll talk to you guys later.
So anyway, it was nice. We will talk to you guys next week. Semi-state. Good luck, everyone, at regional.
For real. Goodbye, everybody. Love you.